Emmerdale's Samantha Giles reveals she returned to work just 6 weeks after giving birth. The soap actress, 46, on breastfeeding in the canteen, wooing her hubby with a love spell, and why she wouldn't encourage her daughters into show business. A bell rings and the canteen doors swing open. At once, the room is full of people clamoring to dump snow-flecked coats onto backs of chairs and queuing to pile their plates high with good old-fashioned fodder, pies and mash, gravy and peas. It could be a scene from a school anywhere, but for the fact we're on the Emmerdale set in Leeds, surrounded by chilly, hungry cast and crew members. "It's a bit rowdy in here," says Samantha Giles over the din of scraping chairs, excited chatter and cutlery clattering on plates. "Shall we find a quiet spot?" She's fresh from filming a scene, still kitted out as her on-screen character Bernice, and we follow her as she clip-clops along a corridor in skyscraper heels and a skin-tight pencil skirt. Her hair is blow-dried in a do so big and bouncy that Kate Middleton would be proud, and her makeup is practically troweled on. Bernice never has done things by halves. "I've spent an awful lot of time in that canteen," she says as we settle down in a quiet room filled with squashy armchairs. "I came back to work when my younger daughter Olivia was 6 weeks old, and I'd leave her with a chaperone while I filmed scenes. It was really tough, physically exhausting. I'd have to get up at 4:30 am to be on set on time, and I'd wash and feed Olivia here before going into makeup." As happy as she was to be reprising the role of Bernice 10 years after she left the show, it wasn't exactly part of the plan. "The producers asked me to come back when I was pregnant and I said, I can't come back for at least 6 weeks as I'm having a cesarean and I won't be able to drive. They took that literally, and wrote me back in for 6 weeks after the birth. You have to do these things. We needed the money and having another baby meant it was going to be harder to get more work. I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth." Samantha's girls Olivia and Eve are now thriving, happy 5 and 9-year-olds, but on screen things couldn't be more different. Bernice's daughter Gabby seems to be getting into more and more teenage hot water with every passing episode. This week she goes as far as spiking Lisa Dingle's drink so that she ends up in hospital. "When I see these storylines coming up I just hope I'm not in training for when my girls are teenagers," says Samantha with a sigh. "They start teenagehood so early now. My eldest one has already got a bit of attitude, a bit answering backy, and she's only 9. They grow up so fast nowadays. I was quite a sensible teen though, mainly I was into writing poetry." Samantha lives in Liverpool with her husband Sean, her daughters, and Bob the cat. It can be a long commute, some days taking her several hours to get to Leeds. But it's a sacrifice she's willing to make because it gives her the chance to juggle work and family life. "It's hard, but I know how lucky I am to be working," she says as she fiddles with Bernice's twee silk scarf that is still fastened around her neck. "So many actors are out of work, and soap is very good for when you have a family. If I wasn't doing this I'd have to be quite choosy about what I did. I couldn't do a big theatre tour or take a job where I had to be away for 6 months. If I've chosen to have children then I want to actually be with them." Like many women with busy careers, Samantha came to motherhood a little later, becoming a first-time mum at 37 and having Olivia a few years later at 40. "I always wanted to have kids and I would have had more if I'd started younger, but you have to wait to meet the right person," she explains. "Some people don't want children, and that's a completely valid life choice. We're overpopulated as it is, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices when you have children. Sometimes I think to myself, my career might have gone a different way if I hadn't had kids, but this is the path I've chosen." As much as she loves her job, Samantha would think twice before encouraging Olivia and Eve to follow in her footsteps. "This is a very tough and superficial business. It's cutthroat and bloody hard, not all fame and glamour," she says. "You have to ask yourself, is this the only thing that will make me happy? That's how I felt. I watched my friends buying houses and going on holiday, and I was still renting a SHT little flat and shopping in Oxfam. But when you're young you have an absurd confidence and feeling of invincibility, so I carried on. While unlucky in love, Bernice might have more than her fair share of on-screen drama. Samantha is happily married to production manager hubby Sean. But her own love life has, at times, resembled a soap opera of its own. Her last marriage ended when she had an affair with Emmerdale co-star Peter Amory, who at the time was married to Claire King. Intriguingly, Samantha, who practices a form of witchcraft called Wicca, says she met her current husband after casting a love spell. "I use candles and crystals in the magic I do. I wrote down exactly what I was after. Then I met Sean and he was exactly what I had written," she explains. "It's as if he appeared by magic. You have to be very specific about what you're looking for, and one thing I forgot to put down was for him to be older than me. I put taller, as well as details about his personality and morality. Then when I met Sean and we started seeing each other, he was 2.5 years younger than me. I thought, this feels a bit weird, but it didn't take me long to get over it." Samantha even has her own Facebook page where she sells love spells, but she says she'd draw the line at casting a spell on her children. "It's not something you can do frivolously," she says. "You have to be careful casting spells about people who are close to you. It doesn't always work and you might be misguided in what you're asking for. The love spell that I did on Sean wasn't about stopping someone's free will. It's about putting your intentions out there to the universe and manifesting what you're asking for." We just hope Samantha will carry on bringing her own brand of mischievous magic to village life. Samantha gets soapy. "I've never been into watching soaps because it's such a commitment. I'm glad other people do though. I've been in 4 soaps, Emmerdale, Hollyoaks, Coronation Street, and Doctors. I'd never say never to doing another one though." Bernice is unlucky in love and I think it's important to have characters like that in soaps. There are plenty of people who struggle to meet the right person and it's good to show someone quite happy on their own, although she's someone who needs to always have man. "People talk to me as if Bernice is real. After some recent scenes where we went out on a girls' night out, people kept saying I'd love to come on a night out with you girls, and it makes me laugh, because I'm quite shy and I'd rather be dead than in a noisy, smelly club dancing." Bernice isn't a terribly good mother, but she tries. She's quite selfish, but there's no such thing as a perfect mother. We've all got our faults. How will Samantha spend Mother's Day? What will you get up to today on Mother's Day? Probably just chilling out. I worked yesterday so a lion would be quite nice. Breakfast in bed? I actually don't like breakfast in bed, but I'd love a lovely bacon sandwich on thick white bread once I'm up. Ideal Mother's Day presents? I'm not worried about presents, it's just nice to do things with your family. We don't go mad because really you should be nice to each other all the time, not just days like this. Most memorable Mother's Day? Probably the first time Eve brought home a handmade card from nursery. It's really nice to keep things like that. What couldn't you get through this weekend without? Wine, probably. I don't drink during the week though. Plus Mother's Day is an excuse to go out for a nice roast. Emmerdale is on ITV, 7 p.m, weekdays.